I had some people coming up to me, and they were worried that my talk was going to be dry and boring and that you weren't going to hear anything new. And I guarantee that that is absolutely correct.
Ich garantiere euch, genauso wird es sein.
Everything that you are going to hear is something that you already know. And it is our goal to remember who we really are. You are stars, you are galaxies, you are planets, you are the universe. The entire universe is built to create life like us. You have galaxies that create stars, stars that create planets. Planets create sentient life like human beings. Witnesses like Henry Deacon have told us that there is life on every planet just in our solar system alone. It may not be exactly the same as we are. It may be like a form of energy, but it's always there. We also know that in our galaxy, every planet creates human life. And this is because the human design was chosen by the galaxy for every planet. So when you look at Sergeant Clifford Stone's testimony, he says there are 57 different varieties of extraterrestrial that have visited our planet. He was briefed on this because he would go and retrieve crashed UFOs. Of these 57 varieties, every single one of them looked like a human being in some way. We know from Henry Deacon that these human beings have a lot of variance in how they look. They are different. They go from about 1.5 feet tall to upwards of 15, 16 feet or more. We know that almost every type of color exists in the skin, including colors you'd never think of. We know that people from Alpha Centauri, for example, have dark green skin. That's one race around that star. There's another race that is about this tall and is more of like a reddish skin. There are other races that have a pastel orange colored skin. There is another race that is almost jet black in the color of the skin. We also know that the grays have an eye covering, which when you pull it away, their eyes are very bloodshot underneath. It's a very advanced technology that allows them to have a computer that they can look at and control. It also provides protection from ultraviolet radiation from their sun. So you have to ask yourself this question. Why would the galaxy build the same life over and over again on so many planets? And why would we exist here on this planet when there are so many things that seem to be trouble for us right now? Is it our destiny to just be erased from this planet? And what is the real reason for all these scary things that are happening? The reason why I'm here is to give you a positive message. The universe has designed this entire creation to reunify with itself. It appears as if there's about 300, 350 separate people in this room. From the level of the beings I speak with, they cannot see us as separate beings. Think of yourself as a rock with water flowing over you in a stream. Your mind is like the water. So you could identify yourself as the rock and think that you just sit there. But in your dreams, someone else's house will become your house. And that will become an experience of déjà vu in your waking life. We actually see where we are going to go before we get there. And time is three-dimensional. It does not simply go forward. I spoke with a witness who worked at the Montauk Project named Daniel. And he told me a lot of things about time that I have never shared publicly before, which I will do now. This could get me in trouble for telling you this, but I'm going to anyway because publicity is protection. I can tell you that the CIA has a program that trains you how to be psychic. And the graduates of this program can do some pretty amazing things. Unfortunately, these things include assassinations. There are two different types of psychic in the program. There's telepath and telekinetic. A very high-level telepath can control your thoughts, and a very high telekinetic can pinch the carotid artery in your neck and give you a stroke or give you a heart attack. I do want to point out that not everyone is susceptible to mind control. We just met with a new witness named Dr. Pete Peterson, and he told us that approximately 15% of people in the world cannot be mind controlled. We learned that they all have extraterrestrial DNA, but an extraterrestrial is just a human being in this galaxy. So that 15% is notable because their mind operates at a higher frequency. If you can train your mind to operate at that frequency, you will not be susceptible to mind control either. By learning these psychic exercises, you actually protect yourself from being influenced. The first exercise is called inverse calisthenics. It means that you hang upside down and do sit-ups from hanging upside down. What do we know about the pineal gland in terms of blood? Does anybody know the answer? Bueller? Say again?
The biggest flow of blood.
That's correct. So you want to increase the blood flow to the brain as much as possible. They also discovered that it is violent, explosive exercise rather than aerobic exercise that has the greatest psychic benefit. This is part of why people who practice martial arts can also become very psychic. The story of Superman is an example of how they see strength and psychic ability coming together. Because of the need to be strong and muscular, they would give people in the psychic program the best cuts of red meat. Now, this is only one way of doing it, and I'm not saying you have to eat red meat. The next important exercise is to find the quiet point within yourself. This means basically meditating and finding the place of no thought. The next exercise is called clustering. You hold up an object and ask the person how they feel about it. If you happen to have a negative experience, then I ask you why. Right now I'm holding up a clock. Some people may have a negative experience with a clock. Then what I do is I find out what the negative experience is, and then I ask, why did you have that experience? And what you try to do is find the root cause of every psychological issue. Ultimately, everything clusters down to the same question. Why do I feel so alone? If you create God as something outside yourself, then you missed the point. The only direct gateway to the Creator is within yourself. And everything that is in the universe is within yourself. The next exercise is called psychocartography. This means that you map out the landscape of your dreams on paper. What happens is that you will find you go through the same landscape in every dream, but you won't realize it's the same landscape until you understand symbolism. The big secret is that your dream is your psychological self. Your dream landscape is a three-dimensional projection of your mind. Everything in your dream is a symbol of some part of yourself. By drawing your dream landscape, you learn where those symbols are. This also brings up a very important concept about time. It's called the arrow of time. That means that time flows in the direction that you are facing. Let's say that this stage represents my dream landscape. Many people will literally go around and around in one place like this. And this is the arrow of time for them, what I'm doing. Every time they get to a certain issue, they stop.
Und immer wenn Sie
And if you don't heal this, then you can never see the rest. They would never know that all of this exists. Once you learn how to heal yourself, you take in more energy. This is where you go through what's called the dark night of the soul. Once you have learned the lessons you came in this life to learn, the soul sends a message to the body saying, you're finished. The body says, what do I do now? And at that point, you go into the dark night of the soul. The ancient secret societies wanted to get into the dark night of the soul because it is only then that the shell around your heart can be cracked open. When you move through the dark night of the soul, you come into a much higher version of yourself, and your psychic abilities will dramatically increase. Yet many of us fastidiously avoid our emotional pain.